So, a few days ago, we made a video talking about Montreal Canadiens prospect and Laval Rocket star, Josh Roy, and how he could get in some serious trouble for this act that he committed, or not act, but lack of an act. Essentially, if you didn't watch that video, Josh Roy had himself a signing, a fan event meetup, and signing session with a local collectible store in Quebec, Universe Collectibles, and unfortunately, he did not end up showing up to the venue. Thus, Universe Collectibles, the staff over there, and the fans that were waiting in the store for an hour to see Roy, to get some stuff signed by him, to have a chance to meet and greet him, everybody was left disappointed by Roy's absence. Now, we spoke in the previous video about the different talking points that were being brought up in that situation. Some fans were asking, oh, is this Universe Collectibles store even real? And we can verify, yeah, they're real, folks. We had many people in the comment section of other Twitter threads and everything saying, yeah, like, the place is real. I've been there before. Some people even know the owners of the place. It's not an issue as to whether or not the place existed, but whether or not Josh Roy, the athlete, decided to either bail on them without notice, or if he had something come up, if there was any other commitment that interfered with the date of the signing. Maybe it was carelessness, maybe it was a bad attitude, maybe it was forgetfulness, who really knows? Some others were joking around saying, hey, maybe Josh Roy just didn't want to cross the bridge, which I unfortunately do not understand what they're talking about because I'm not familiar with that area in Quebec, but anyways, I said at the end of that video that I didn't want to come to any conclusions without any extra information, because obviously at face value it looks terrible. Universe Collectibles posted multiple graphics on their stories, on their Instagram feed, saying that Josh Roy was going to have themselves a signing. But he didn't show up. And it was interesting how they were tagging him in their stories afterwards, saying that he wasn't showing up, and everybody was kind of questioning what this would mean. But it turns out we now have ourselves the verdict. What actually happened and why Josh Roy ended up missing the event. Take a look at this tweet posted by BPM Sports Talk Radio. The agent of Josh Roy, Olivier Forte, spoke on BPM Sports as to what happened with the Universe Collectibles signing last Sunday. The agent says here, Josh n'a jamais eu de retour quant à la date. Okay, we're gonna translate that. Josh Roy never received any word as to when the event would be held. He didn't know when this signing was gonna happen. They didn't give him the date, apparently. And this, if you take this at face value, seems like a bit of carelessness on both parties. Okay, let's assume this is 100% true. Heck no, not even both parties. I'm gonna say 3 parties. Because, for one, it is, of course, Universe Collectibles' responsibility to notify those that need to be notified when the signing would be, but at the same time, is it not like the agent's responsibility to go out there and figure things out? Josh Roy, as a guy, not knowing the signing event date, is maybe not something that he has within his control. Like, he's not going out there, I assume, and trying to hit up Universe Collectibles, hey, so when is our signing going to be? When is our signing going to be? When is our signing going to be? NHL, AHL athletes are busy people, and they have agents for a reason. Is it not the agent's responsibility to go out there and keep track of these things and let the player know, hey Josh, you got this signing coming up on Sunday, better free up the time or wake up a little bit early, get on this bridge, get your ass over to Universe Collectibles and stay around there for an hour, and then you can continue with your other stuff. It's Universe Collectibles' job, of course, to let people know when they're supposed to be there, but they were posting about it on social media a lot. They had posts from a few days ago that said, hey, we got Josh Roy coming to the store. Come over here and meet and greet him and get your stuff signed and take pictures and everything. Like, it was a big deal, and usually for local collectible stores, they promo the crap out of this stuff. Always. They have no choice but to do it. Like, they have to get their commission back somehow. So the excuse from the agent saying, yeah, Josh Roy never knew about the date as to when the signing would be. Sure, you could say, oh, it might be the store's fault for not telling Josh Roy, but isn't it also yours? You're the agent. You're the guy that's supposed to be telling this stuff. Like, Josh Roy is just the guy. I'm sure if he wanted to, he could have gone onto the Universe Collectibles page and figured out, oh, my signing is on Sunday. But like, just think about it. You're an NHL player, NHL, AHL player, whatever. Even if you're an AHL player, if you have the amount of hype and support like Josh Waugh has from the Canadiens fans, you're probably getting tagged in a bunch of stuff all the time, every day, every few days, every time you play a game, every time somebody goes to see the Laval Rocket or they take a picture or something, you're getting tagged everywhere. You know, NHL players usually have, if you look in their tagged photos section on Instagram, you'll usually see a bunch of stuff, especially for Montreal players. So while, yeah, it would have been reasonable for Josh Waugh himself to look up Universe Collectibles, the argument of like, oh yeah, they were tagging him and everything, like, he probably gets tagged in a whole bunch of stuff. So I don't really think it's Josh Waugh's responsibility to keep track of everything that he gets posted about on social media. Let's go over onto the RHAB subreddit because some of the other comments on this thread dive into a few other perspectives. Ouch, Deluge QC says, it's pretty much an agent's job here to follow up on contracts and commitments made by your clients. Here you have a kid who didn't get a great deal of press following the camp and his retrenchment in Laval, and the first big news that comes out about him is that he wasn't present for a signing session with fans. Pretty sure Wawa has to find a new agent today. A reply says, it's not bad, the promoter's job is to make sure everything is in place too. It's easy to throw the blame left and right in these matters. This is because the blame is on the right and the left. Anyone who has ever planned an event knows that you should always check with the stakeholders before the event. The promoter should always have confirmation from the agent in writing if possible. Next, if a contract was actually signed, the agent should have done the date verification. Just ignoring it by saying the date was never confirmed is a pathetic excuse and risks harming his client. Basically, by my standards, both of them messed up, and now the media is going to have a field day. The only non-guilty one, in my opinion, is Waugh, because it's really his agent's job to do that. The only exception would be if Waugh signed the contract without telling his agent, and I doubt it. And that's actually a really good point, too. Anytime you're setting up meetings, negotiations, a date, an event, you got somebody coming somewhere. You're bringing somebody along somewhere. You always have to verify. 1 day, 2 days. Hey, Josh Waugh. Joshua's agent, are we still good for tomorrow? Are you still going to be coming out to our store on Sunday? If Universe Collectibles reached out to Waugh's agency or Waugh himself, they said on Saturday afternoon, hey Josh, are you still good for Sunday? You coming tomorrow? If, at that time, Waugh's like, oh crap, no, I got something to do. I'm not in town. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm not free tomorrow. Sorry, I forgot. Then okay, it's easy for everybody involved to be like, okay, well, shucks, darn it. And then they can get the fans their refunds and be like, hey, sorry guys, Josh Waugh's not coming today, he'll come later. But without any follow-through, without any confirmation the day before or 2 days before from the venue asking this guy whether or not it is confirmed that he's coming, that I think is also a little bit careless. It's not the olden days anymore. You can't just make a date with someone verbally, be like, hey, show up at the movie theaters Friday, next weekend, 8 p.m., and then they're like, okay, great, and then you wait a week without talking to them again, and then you just show up at the movies Friday at 8. In these days, that doesn't happen anymore. If you show up at 8 at the movies on Friday, you're just not going to see them, unless you actually confirm the day before or the morning of, hey, we still good for tonight? You still good for Friday at 8? These kinds of things are pretty standard, I would say, in modern communication, especially via social media and online. Emails, phone conversations, text messages, these things are available at our fingertips. There's no reason to not go out there and confirm your guests. So, carelessness on both sides, I would say. Josh Waugh himself, while he does have a duty to be the talent at this venue, be the attraction that people are coming to see, he's a professional athlete. He's not supposed to be negotiating terms as to when and where he's going to meet and what things are going to look like. He's the guy that shows up for the talent. He needs an agency to do that for him. So, it's the agency's fault for not getting the date, I would say. It's potentially Universe Collectibles' fault for not asking or verifying, but I don't want to say it's Universe Collectibles' fault for not having the date be put out there. Because any look at their social media feeds over the past few days, you would have seen this Josh Waugh stuff going all over the place. And to anybody who still is skeptical about the idea that this place even exists, look, dude, if the agent went out there and spoke on the radio saying, oh yeah, they didn't tell us the date, there's your proof right there. If the thing wasn't real, if they're just trying to scam people into thinking that Josh Waugh did them a solid when nothing happened, then the agent wouldn't have said that. The agent would have just been like, no, that never happened, we never agreed to that. Instead, he's like, oh, we just didn't know the date, which makes them look a lot worse, in my opinion. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Josh Waugh and this signing, meet and greet, missing out situation. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.